Hi, this is Cheryl Abrigo with the USF Tech Transfer Office. We're here today with our next tech tour with Dr. Simon O. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. To start out with, can you tell us a little bit about your lab and what you're doing in your lab?
So my research is on the defensive side of cybersecurity. So I try to find technologies that can help security analysts in, say, security operation centers or SOC, or security pen testing team, or anyone who has a job of designing or preventing the attack from happening to their organization or their software systems. My research is to investigate how to make their job easier, more productive, and more rewarding.
Very good, very good. So you have three technologies with us currently, three active technologies. Can you tell us a little bit about the three of them, if they interact, if they're separate?
Yeah, so one of them is our very first step about integrating large language models, or the generative AI, to help security pen testing.
Okay.
Think about in a company that produces large amounts of software, and these days their AI generated code is also speeds up the software generation. But the key one key task in security is to make sure the code that is being produced has as few bugs as possible. And that's the job of security pen testing. They have to look at the source code and understand the possible attack vectors. And sometimes they have to launch test attack to make sure they may succeed. And that's a very, very expertise driven and also high volume work. So what we're looking at how we can use a large language model to help the pen testers to consume the large amounts of code by the AI and find likely places that they can spend their time on, which is pretty precious, to focus on the places that may likely lead to discovery of software vulnerabilities.
Very cool. Very cool. I bet it's very intense. A lot of coding.
Yeah.
What drove you into this research?
So as everyone knows, since 2022, late year, the ChatGPT basically made the whole world know generative AI can do things that no one even imagined a few years ago. So ever since then, I started to look into the technology more closely. I realized the reasoning capabilities in LLMs actually fits naturally to a lot of the security tasks that currently extremely hard to automate. Think about the job of a SOC analyst. They have to process huge volumes of alerts. Most of them are false positives, but they still have to look at each one of the parameters and relate to the context of the organization to determine if this is a risk or it's just something people just have to clean up their laptop. So this is not really a fun job, but it has to be done by humans. And there are tooling available to solve puzzles that can complete the process of closing a ticket, but none of the tools by themselves can actually do the whole thing, because there's always some fuzziness or some shady error that would require a human to have this final jump to make all the tools together to make a decision. AI is very suitable for that, right? If you think about if you have to write a non-AI or conventional program, it'll be like if, else, then, if. So it's extremely hard to manage this kind of, very a dynamic and situation in the typical program. But AI can learn from the data, from past experiences, and it can also present some human thinking capability. So it's very natural to use AI to fill the gap that's left by the traditional security tools.
Okay, with human touch.
Exactly.
Human touch, which is very important. So my job is to try and reach out to the companies. And generally, because, university is very early stage, we like collaboration, sponsored research, that type of thing. What would be your goal for these technologies of yours to get to industry?
Yeah, so I will have to say my approach to commercialization and tech transfer is slightly different than the traditional one. So normally you develop technology, and you patent it, you protect it, and then you see who will be interested in invest to make that into the reality and then benefit customers and the society. But for the problem of cybersecurity, it's extremely hard to develop a technology in the vacuum.
Okay.
That means I cannot sit in my office or in my lab to dream about a solution,
right,
and then I can just patent it, right? Rather, almost every time, I had to work with the operation people.
Okay.
So I co-create solutions with them. That means the process of getting the solution, if you call it, developed, is a joint effort.
Okay.
It's not just done by the researcher, the professor, the students. The company partners also have a role in it.
Okay.
So as of now, we are working with a number of companies in this particular way, right? But of course, we have not discussed IP at this point.
Okay.
But I believe there can be a way to incentivize this kind of collaboration, because industry does need solution for this space.
Yes.
And they realize there's no silver bullet.
Right.
Everything has to be a human-centered. You have to understand the people who do the job, the organization where the tools are going to be deployed, and all the gaps that can only be discovered when you really go inside that environment. So definitely I look forward to any company who are willing to allow us to know your work and open your door and let us to have some conversation to see whether our research can potentially be of benefit to your work to reduce workload, or maybe to even jointly co-create some solution that can be further commercialized and developed.
That is so helpful. It really is very helpful. Thank you for sharing this information with us.
Yeah.
Join us next time, please, with USF Tech Transfer, Dr. O, and I'm Cheryl Abrigo.
Thank you.